So hello and welcome everyone to Let's Play Tomb Raider 4 Remastered. This is Algaze115 speaking, and I'm so incredibly overjoyed to welcome you to what is essentially my most favorite and beloved level of Tomb Raider 4, the Lost Library of Alexandria. This is a phenomenal level, and I often compare it to Croft Manor or Lara's home but on steroids, as we are gonna enter a central hallway and explore the different facilities around it, which all look like they could essentially be lived in. It is truly a wondrous place, packed with secrets, puzzles and research and knowledge. And I'm so glad that this part of the library, at least in the Tomb Raider universe, made it and did not burn down. Now guys, as it pertains to the statistics, we are gonna get our hands on all 28 goodies, raising our total to 346. Now I do need to start with some very bad and frustrating news for those of you who, like me, are completionists and care about all kills. Starting from this level onward, and it sours somewhat my most favorite level of the game, our kill count is going to be completely messed up and inaccurate, and I was hoping that by the point we reach the Lost Library of Alexandria, second patch will be out. I know, I'm a bit naive. Nevertheless, what am I talking about? In this level, as it pertains to the kills, you could see on the scrolling text the number 7. Well, that completely excludes the 4 fire elementals we are gonna encounter here. Like I'd explained in Temple of Poseidon, Catacombs and Tomb of Semerkhet, I am removing all elementals and wraiths from the equation, because you cannot really kill them, you can sort of environmentally lure them into their doom, and also they don't cast a shadow, Lara doesn't aim her guns at them. I also remove all death beetle swarms and later on swarms of locusts from the kill count statistic. However, what I would count as a kill are actual moving enemies casting shadows that Lara aims her guns at, shoots and brings down until they die. And unfortunately, there'll be 7 of them, enemies that I absolutely adore, but none of these guys will increase your kill count. By the end of the level, it should be at 198, it will still be at 191. I have a theory why this bug persists here, and that's because you only bring them down via shooting their specific body part. But that body part still has HP, and you will deal damage to it, as we'll see later, via an actual health bar appearing on the screen, so I don't see a reason why they couldn't turn that body part into an enemy to count as a kill. It seems like such a simple fix. Of course, I'm not a programmer, I don't know what goes into it. But still, I can't imagine this being so difficult, and I think this was just overlooked due to lack of time. That's my theory anyway. In case any Saber Aspire devs are watching, they can of course correct us, provided they didn't sign an NDA, which they probably did and cannot, which is a bummer. But anyway, so from this point on, guys, I'm always gonna be referring to 7 mechanical soldiers as extra kills, okay? I'm not actually gonna edit it on the screen in any shape or form so as not to confuse you when you'll be doing your own run of Tomb Raider 4. I want to still show you the in-game kills count you can have, and if this gets patched in the future, that will date this guide significantly, which is again while I'll be bringing up that this is a pre-patch run where these 7 enemies do not count. Okay guys, as it pertains to secrets, we are gonna get our hands on 3 secrets, raising the total to 52. We are also gonna make progress for the Oops achievement, breaking 16 delicious, gorgeous vessels, raising the total to 116. And when it comes to achievements in general, we are gonna unlock only one, called Rely on Yourself, which is a bit funny. This achievement asks you to essentially progress the level without using a specific switch. Sort of internet wisdom would have you believe you need to glitch your way through this. That's not the case. I found a really easy, reliable way to do this without resorting to any kind of glitches, and I'm of course gonna show you. And finally, we are now gonna start making progress. The entire game-spanning achievement called Hypatia Would Be Proud. This is the first place where we are gonna find some clues to puzzles, and we're gonna discover 2 of them in the Lost Library. Okay guys, and in case you're wondering who Hypatia is, I also don't know myself, but I found some Baroque paintings of her and some images. Apparently she was a scholar back in ancient times that also worked in Alexandria, so it makes sense for us to make her proud starting at this very place. Okay, awesome guys, I'm not gonna stall any longer, just look at this. And again, the remasters have done something wonderful. They added the chandelier there, with even the sound effect of fire crackling, and the marble floor is shiny and clean, not at all dusty. Oh, how I love this. Our objective, essentially, past these 2 Medusa heads, is to open the door over here and continue on to the next level, called the Hall of Demetrius, which should not have been the next level, but apparently the core era devs have run out of memory and couldn't fit it here, which makes my heart bleed. Furthermore, this place is surrounded via 2 unbreakable vessels. Not even with explosives can you break these, and this is really interesting. They show horsemen on the top, and on the bottom there's a soldier's helmet, what seems like a spiral shield, and a token of a horse. And this is foreshadowing of a boss we are gonna encounter in this level, a so-called mechanical horseman. I think what the spiral on the shield is supposed to represent is a bit of a clockwork mechanism. That would be my best guess. Oh, I love these so much. I'm also gonna show you a breakable variety of these vessels. So let's open the door here using the action key. Again, if you have action indicators enabled, you'll be notified immediately. You can pull that off. And there it is. And you know what? For this one, I will probably take a picture of both the original and the remastered graphics, because this absolutely warrants it. So yeah, a bit smaller scale, more easy to break as well. And there we go, our first care package. Now I heard some reports saying that this breakable vessel can disappear from the level if you explore other rooms of the Lost Library of Alexandria. So you are well advised to explore this corridor first, so that you will not miss out on an opportunity to land all those breakable vessels and mess up the Oops achievement. Okay guys, that hasn't happened to me simply because I always explore this place first, because I want to show you something. Now, what I recommend is keep using those white shots, and my friends, we are surrounded by 2 mechanical soldiers, and you know what, this could be a pretty good screenshot. What I would love to do, probably gonna extend the FOV at least somewhat. I want to take a picture in their original and remastered graphics. So these guys are interesting. Ah, they do have that spiral symbol on their shield, so see, this probably refers to this. Oh, that's pretty damn cool. And of course they have the hoplite helmets, but without the feathery top, which is a bit of a bummer. Maybe that would be difficult to animate, who knows. And these guys are invincible unless you hit the gem in their chest, upon which point they will collapse. Let me show you. Lara by default tries to aim at it. Oh, there was one. And always back up. And there they collapse to the floor. By the way, if you're lucky, you can also break their shield off completely, kind of like Skeleton's shield are. And now the point of sadness for me, our kill count is still at 191. Again, this has something to do with those gems on their chest having to take damage rather than them themselves. But again, I was hoping Saber and Aspire, upon introducing a kill count, would take care of that, okay? Now the hallways where they left from are completely empty, but here underneath the banners you will see something which I think is a really stupid level design, honestly, and I love this level to bits. But this right here is the first hint for Hypatia Would Be Proud achievement, a scroll which you can read. I love key items like this. Unfortunately, for some reason, Core Era developers have decided that you cannot pick it up early for whatever reason. Only when you enter the relevant challenge room will you then be able to retrace your steps, and it will no longer be semi-transparent, but actually fully opaque and pick-upable. Okay, guys? So, I just wanted to show you the first side chamber to get a hint of what's to come. Then, let's move clockwise to the next one. Ooh, talking about clock. Haha, clockwork mechanisms, yay! Oh, that incurred damage? What? Odd. Anyway. Very small, insignificant one. Try not to use these poles when accessing the lower areas, just fall down. That's the best way to do this, really. Press action so that you will end up sliding into these mid-floors with breakable vessels and goodies, aplenty. And now these cogs, I'm gonna talk more about them a bit later on, but essentially just wait for it to get to the left half of the square before running forward. And there we go, we have successfully overcome them with, well, I was hoping no damage, but we took some apparently. And now climb up here whilst the cog is busy. Again, you don't need to resort to using the pole at all. Whenever you can avoid doing that, do it, because they will incur some mandatory damage with those cogwheels around. Now watch out, another soldier. Let's wait for them to align a bit better. You can often see almost green blood splatters, and that means you've successfully hit the gem, okay? Now, before we do anything here, I would like to show you this level's first secret, which is really well hidden over here. This might seem, oh, inaccessible because of the giant wheel, But no, Lara can absolutely go there. If you're not careful and just keep running forward, you will take some massive falling damage here, which is what I wanted to avoid. And there we go, small med pack, Uzi clips and revolver ammo. Each time I see this revolver ammo, I am very happy. Again, we don't have a revolver yet, we'll get it right after we finish the entire Alexandria section, literally the drop from the first enemy afterwards. And it's gonna be a trusty companion. It is a Desert Eagle, essentially. What's really interesting is that the revolver also makes an appearance in the Rome chapter of Tomb Raider 5, but there it is so much weaker, it's been nerfed, which I think is a really interesting choice, but they give you more ammo for it. Okay, and guys, this, you can absolutely use the crowbar we found on Von Croy's train to take out the star and collect it, and my god, I love these things so much. I believe we need to collect 2 more before we do anything. So, let's first climb up here using the ladder. Now, these golden stars, they just really remind me of the Milky Way chocolate, you know what I'm talking about? And imagining them being wrapped in a golden wrapper, oh, they would look exactly like this. Now guys, I have no idea who this is supposed to be. I'm just gonna make a wild guess that this could be an architect of the place. Not necessarily Archimedes, but who knows. Oh, he's surrounded by dolphins. That I've never noticed in the original. So is it supposed to be Poseidon then? I don't know. You guys let me know your guess. It's pretty damn interesting anyway to talk about this. Anywho, more mechanical soldiers that will not, I repeat, not increase our kill count. Okay. If you get extremely lucky, you can bring them down in as little as 3 blasts, but again, it depends how the pellets scatter. And again, since this isn't really about dealing damage, I'm using white shots, but you would probably have slightly better results using normal shotgun shells. Yeah, this one was not good, took plenty. Okay, now my friends, each of these soldiers has a green gemstone, but we are breaking them, so we're not really able to pick them up subsequently. But we'll need one that will survive an encounter with Lara, put it here and open this chamber. Oh, by the way, I just realized something. Could this be a depiction of Hypatia? This female figure? You know what? I'm willing to bet anything that's her over there. Let's see if she'll be proud of us. Okay, so first of all, the ladder is actually over on this side, so let's use it to descend down. Maybe doing a crawl somersault forward drop would have prevented any damage anyway, but I didn't want to risk it. Again, this can be a tricky level to complete without using a med pack. Okay guys, now we're gonna face off against this level's boss, and what I want to show you is a neat trick in case you're not, let's say, keen on following the boss fight mechanics. Take your grenade launcher out, a normal grenade will do, flash grenade unfortunately will do not, but I assume super will work as well for this, but why waste a super when we can use the normal one, and let's save the game here. And as you're approaching, make sure to fire a grenade. Yes! Okay, and this should prevent the horseman to mount the horse. Yes, it worked! Okay, guys, and this is how easy the horseman is to take down. Don't worry, I'm also gonna show you the proper way to do this. Oh man, he's struggling now, that's a bit sad. And look how little health he has, like an ordinary soldier. And that's it, you have just taken down the mechanical horseman, and also the horse itself has disappeared. I would consider this one kill, by the way. I'm not gonna count the horse as a separate kill. Okay, guys? So, this is a really neat way in which you can cheese it. Maybe something to consider for New Game Plus, if you'll find that especially difficult. But for now, I want to show you the proper, decent way to tackle this boss. Alright, let's do away with the grenade launcher, and let's do this fight as the gods of Olympus have intended. Uzis are your best weapon of choice. Oh, that reminds me, I have not yet taken a picture of this horseman, so let me take care of that real quick. I mean, the cutscene itself will give us a good shot, but I have a better one in mind. I want the gemstone to be visible. There we go. So, I want the background to be a bit on the brighter side, so he stands out. I think this is as good as it gets. Yeah, you can still clearly see the horse head. So, there we go. And my friends, please make midair rolls here, and whenever he turns, that's the opportunity to shoot the gem. He's gonna try and swipe his axe at you, but that's not particularly effective. Okay, and one more dose should just about do it. See how easy this is? Now, what you'll also notice is that this guy has way more health he had before mounting that horse. Yep, he's now no ordinary mechanical soldier, despite looking the same way, and the health bar is a confirmation. Now Lara's aim is rather terrible. Ooh, we blew off his shield. That's pretty cool, so now he won't be able to defend himself. Again, the shield blowing off seems very random, and the guy collapses, yielding the one and only unbroken Horseman's Gem. I think this side, yeah. I did prefer it in the original. Here in the remasters, it's just the brightness is up to 11. I'm not the biggest fan. Okay, guys, and you maybe remember where to put the Horseman's Gem. I showed you the slot earlier, so we can go back, but we would be missing out on this level 2nd secret, which I think is really neat. These are weights with a counterweight. You would think you need to bring the counterweight down, but no, you just need to shoot it. I was kind of hoping that it would go down on its own, but well, it's still a really cool secret. I love manually hitting things and objects in the distance and paying attention to my environment. I adore this one. Oh, and Uzi ammo. Uzi ammo, always happy about that since you spend it so quickly, but it has such a low yield per pickup. Okay. I guess Lara can take a drink in the fountain, refresh herself, but she has no time for that nonsense like biological needs. Yeah, that's for suckers. Lara has no time for that. Anywho, let's climb all the way up, and in case you don't like the mechanical soldiers, I have good news for you. You will only have to face one more in the entire level in a completely isolated area, okay? So, let's just go back, and Hypatia, are you proud now? We have the gem, indeed. Although we probably broke your toys, who knows? Maybe she designed these, fellas, who knows? Wouldn't make sense since her face is everywhere. Again, I'm only making an assumption this is a Hypatia, we'll see. Anywho, pulling the lever over here opens up a grain underwater, and this whole area happens to be right under us, as the camera angle will kindly show us. I really like this. So, how to get there? Well, when we entered the whole clockworks and gear room, there's one area we have not yet explored. Oh my god, Lara, really? You keep getting stuck there? Wonderful, I hope you're proud. Okay, let's try and grab it like this, because I want to backflip the other way, because there's a wall on the other side. That wouldn't be pretty. Okay, and remember, we are upstairs. We climbed the ladder here, so let's climb it down. And now you essentially have a choice between two areas. I'm first gonna show you the harder one, and then the easier one, which I recommend you use. So, the harder one is to the left. Okay, let's just keep away from these swinging chains. Yeah, this was the harder one. And a trapdoor now. How the hell do we open it? Well, good on you if you have action indicators enabled. You will see the icon appearing over here. In the original, the texture almost looked like an arrow pointing to one side. In the remaster, no such luck. I was actually hoping the remasters would add some three-dimensional handle to these to show you from which way to grab it. But no, they did no such thing, which is a little bit annoying. And this leads to the underwater area. But what I'd recommend so much more is to use the right entrance, because it's easier, as you'll soon see. By the way, I think the left area will contain a medpack on New Game Plus, but don't quote me on that. It's been almost 2 months since I played it, so I don't remember every single placement. Okay, whoa, okay, that was a bit too close for comfort, but anywho, we pulled that off. And again, from the same side, the closest to you as you enter, you can open the trapdoor, and you will find yourself in the underwater area. Now, the entrances might be a bit confusing, because this one emerges from the right side of the area, or I guess I should say the northern side over here. But the other is not on the southern side, it's to the east over here. This is where we would have emerged from otherwise, but I'm gonna use it as a way back, I guess. That means we'll have to navigate the harder area. Ooh, I'm up for the challenge. And when we climb over here, you will find not one, but 2 delicious Milky Way chocolate stars. So yay! We only need 3 of these things for a puzzle later on, puzzle that's been hinted at via the gorgeous loading screen of the level. So you have that to look forward to. Okay, there we go, and back into the water. I'm gonna, just out of principle, use the other entrance of this place to show you. Oh, by the way, above us is the grate where we pulled the lever, which opened the door to the Milky Way stars. Yep, that's essentially it. So let's go over here and navigate the, well, harder to navigate area with chains. Okay. I mean, I've mastered Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2 on retro achievements, so this kind of platforming feels like a walk in the park compared to that. Never played those games, actually, ever, and I finally got to do that. So happy about that. Okay, guys, back to the pole with the spinning gear, and this, considered by many, could be the hardest part of the level. Let's fall down here whilst we can, but there'll be no such luck for the pole here. Guys, I can't recommend this enough. Please save your game here, but of course I'm not gonna do that. Grab the pole using the action key and go up 1, 2, 3 times and then stop. Stop until the gear will move there, then backflip. Okay, we took some small damage. Now, from the edge of this ledge, make a grabbing jump forward, you'll end up perfectly aligned, and now let's wait for the gear to do its cycle again. And as it moves into the forward right corner, that's when I'll move and backflip. Okay, some damage taken, very unfortunate. Now for this one, remember to grab it from this side. You cannot backflip on those, okay? I guess technically we could even do this. This is closer to the exit. This is the only mandatory damage in the level you have to take, and depending on your timing, that's how damage you will take, okay? It's a nasty surprise. Anywho. Oh boy, this is making me nervous. I, of course, haven't saved. Miss Croft. Okay, we have over half of our health bar remaining. Guys, that is an amazing result. I don't think I ever managed to pull that off. Anywho, completing the rest of the level because of this without using a medpack is going to be a bit of a challenge. Now, on the left over here, you will see door, but if you have the action indicators enabled, it will not be up there because you cannot open it from this side. Again, I wish the remasters would give us some visual cue as to which side to open them, just like the grates in Coastal Ruins, but oh well. There you have it. Let's see about this one. Yeah, this one also cannot be open. Moving on. I'm thinking which is better to do first. Let me see. You know what? I think this might be the right one. Perfect. Okay, this middle door. I always confuse the last 2 doors on the bottom floor over here. Now guys, as you turn the corner over here, make sure to sprint. Oh my god, you'll be chased by 2 fire elementals that can absolutely set you on fire. You can douse yourself or douse them off in this pool of water. Don't get too close to the surface. These bastards can still deal damage to you even if you're in the water, which is why I'm keeping so low, okay? And by the looks of it, both of them are now gone. Oh, that is wonderful. Okay guys, the first clue for Hypatia would be proud. Notice the tile over here showing a geocentrical, not heliocentrical, ancient way of looking at celestial bodies. If you step on it, Lara has a hunch. Her survivor instincts are tingling. So, make sure to grab your binoculars. I guess the laser sight from the crossbow would also work, but just to be sure, zoom in and press the action key. This will cast light and unlock the first point of progress for Hypatia would be proud. What we are looking at is a geocentric model of celestial bodies, so we see Earth in the middle, then Moon right next to it. Then I'm not really sure which planet this is supposed to be. I'm gonna assume the red one is Mars and the Sun is way up here. This could be, I don't know if this is Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, whatever it is, because, you know, I'm expecting this model to be incorrect. It is ancient, right? But what's maybe a more useful reference point is to remember blue, white, green, red, and yellow as it gets warmer, okay? So Earth in the middle, Sun all the way at the peripheries, Moon, of course, next to the Earth. I guess the trickiest one to remember is green, closer, red, more further away. That's what you need to take away from this for the puzzle later on. Now, let's break the jar over here, despite it being empty, right? I just want to make sure. Wonderful. Then, walking across this absolutely peaceful and relaxing place, well, if it wouldn't be for the blasted fire wraiths, there should be a small medpack in the jar over here. Wonderful. I guess I don't need the flare, because this place is much better illuminated. Oh, well. Oh yeah, nothing over here whatsoever, which is a bit of a bummer. And again, you will find yourself in a library, bookshelves or scroll shelves filled to the brim with ancient knowledge. Oh, I wish we could just take him out of there. You can never interact with these, by the way. And also scroll on a pedestal that you cannot interact with. What on earth? And yet, we'll be picking up 2 scrolls in this level, but not quite yet. One thing I want to draw your attention to up here is that at the top of the ladder is a trapdoor, so you cannot really climb it up. Now we need to open it up from the top, just like the underwater area next to the spinning gears, okay? So, let's emerge from here. Again, this was an optional detour for Hypatia would be proud clue, but you can absolutely get the clue even after you complete the puzzle and still make progress for the achievement. At least I presume. I have actually never tested it this way, so don't take my word for it, please. Alrighty then, there should be another breakable vessel. My senses are tingling for these things. God, I love the crunchy noise so much, and to find a goodie inside is a true reward. And my friends, this is kind of honestly peak Tomb Raider 4 right here. So where we are is a giant planetarium. If this looks familiar, it should if you took a while to look at the hint from Hypatia. So remember, blue in the middle, then white, then green, then red, then yellow. Blue being Earth, I think it's going to be referred to as Gaia on the inscription there, and then Sun, maybe called after the god Helios, we'll see. And wow, they actually gave this starry sky a depth in the remasters. This is truly a spectacle, but I'm not gonna take a picture of this place now. I'm gonna do so after we solve it. And guys, for this, since there's gonna be a ton of pushing and pulling involved, I'm just gonna let you listen to some Dark Angel Symphony. Enjoy, guys. This treat's on me. This is truly a sight to behold. Now guys, I hope you enjoyed a peaceful, tranquil and relaxing moment, because it's gonna get a bit more hectic from here. But putting the celestial bodies in place according to this ancient geocentric, not heliocentric model, you will essentially cause a beam of light to merge and combine and open the door over there. And this is truly wonderful. It's also one of the points where, again, just like in the Temple of Poseidon, this illustrates nicely how the dynamic loading screens worked in the original, because it shows you this entire room, this planetary, empty at the beginning, but if you reload afterwards, it shows it to you occupied with the celestial bodies. And also, you'll see these little symbols atop of each, notifying you that you put them in the correct place, otherwise they will not appear. And I'm just trying to think about how best to capture this. Which is easier said than done. I want to capture all the planets in the shot, the golden star and the sky, and Lara in the distance. You know what? I think let's extend the FOV somewhat, and by somewhat I mean a lot. Let's roll just a little, and I think this is the best realistic shot of planetarium I can take here. Okay, truly satisfying. It's a bit slow, not particularly exciting, but my god, is it a relaxing activity, which we need in the classic Tomb Raiders. Over here, very dark corner and difficult to see. We get a large medbag. Then, in the one over here, some white shots. Oh, and you know what? I'm gonna leave the door for later, because if you follow the corridor over here, you are gonna enter next puzzle room. And the moment you step on this tile, or maybe even this one earlier with the musical clue triggering, you will be able to now retrace your steps back for the scroll that was unpickable from before. And we are on the other side of the third left ground floor door that we were not able to open from the other side, essentially, as we entered. So, coming back to the very first room of Lara's mansion on steroids, where it all began, this scroll is no longer transparent. It can be picked up. Now, this in itself will not net you the point for Hypatia would be proud. You actually need to open up your inventory and read it, similar like the clues, or sorry, the rules for the game of Senate, which I'm a bit bummed out that that didn't count towards the achievement's progress, but oh well, because you don't need to read them to play it. So I was hoping they would at least acknowledge that via an achievement progress, but they decided not to. Instead, the fire circle scroll. You can sort of enter, examine, and now all it says is, for the serpents to live, all must first be stilled. Provoke each in turn, and the circle will burn complete. So it also shows the representation of the pentagram over there. And that's essentially because each time you press a lever on any one of these serpents, it will turn the fire on, as well as the two opposing serpents. And this can get complicated, unless you follow the instructions to the letter. So first, it told you to still all of them. You can do that via touching this pentagram square. They will all be shut down, okay? And now all you gotta do is in turn press every single lever and you're golden. That's essentially the gist of it. So it's like a puzzle turned upside down is what I called it, I think back in 2021. You know, it makes it seem very difficult, but it's actually super duper simple if you just follow the clue you found, which is what clues should do. So I appreciate that. Now, let's just keep going. And essentially, as you're making progress, you are shutting some off, but that's all part of the plan. Eventually, when you reach the penultimate one, you will find that all of them are on fire. A point before which I would actually recommend you save the game, because something ridiculously dangerous will happen. And you know what? I might actually do it. Okay, there we go. And now for the final one. So this is the point where I recommend you save the game, because this can cause you to die due to no fault of your own. The moment you do this, a fire elemental will appear. This was not the case in the original PC version, but in the PS1 it was. I have actually tested it on my PS Vita, and they carried it over to the remasters, which I think is appropriate because it was probably a bug that didn't appear here in the PC CD release. So guys, I'm gonna save the game here, and let's press the lever. Now, let's be real quick. There is a sequence of moves I like to pull off here. Wonderful, and now turn the other way that you came from. Okay, climb up. Oh my god. Yes, yes, yes. Please, please, please. And into the pool. Oh my god, the elemental didn't even touch us. I've never managed to pull it off like this. I think it's because I delayed the climb up a little, and that's what allowed us to avoid. Ah, phenomenal work, Lara. Thank you for cooperating. And we find yet another library. And you might be wondering, okay, so do we need to pick one of these scrolls up? No. There is an optional pickup if you climb the ladder to the upper library here. But what you're probably not yet aware of is that we have in fact made it to the second floor of Croft Manor, Lost Library. So, we now, from this point on, will have access to all the upper rooms of this wonderful facility. So 2 breakable vessels up here, but only one of them has a small med pack. That, in the original, is a bit disappointing. In the remaster, given the achievements, that is, if you're playing on a platform with achievements, it at least gives it a bit of a more point. Okay, and down we go next to this beautiful preserved wooden rail, still painted blue. That is impressive. Let's get one step down before we shoot. And Uzi clips are ours. Again, kind of difficult to see on the floor over there. And now this library is huge, but also completely empty and devoid of objects, but you can absolutely enjoy it, take the sights. I love this place. Imagine studying this, having all the time in the world to just walk around and read and take notes. And this is what the challenge has been all about. Reaching the upper floor of this facility. Now, you don't have to, but you know me, I like to explain the purpose of certain things, even exploring some areas prematurely. This door leads to music room. Again, not unlike Lara's mansion. On the way there, you will find Uzi clips. Okay, that is unlike Lara's mansion, to be fair. And over here is where we will need to play the lyre. Just 3 strings, Lara can pull it off, but she needs the musical sheets captured on a musical scroll. That's gonna be like the final artifact we will be after. I'm gonna take a picture of this room, hopefully I will not forget at the very end. In case you're wondering who is displayed on the tapestry over here, this time it doesn't seem to be Alexander the Great, but instead the god of the underworld, Hades. And the reason why I think that is actually in the next level called Hall of Demetrius, where we are gonna see this as a painting with full-on detail, okay? He also has a 3-headed dog, Cerberus, next to his feet. It's just difficult to see on the tapestry over there. Okay, so our next task is to play some music, which again I think is a lovely reference to the original Tomb Raider 1 main theme. Let's keep going. You can skip this camera angle anytime to take a different look, but it automatically reverts to it, which is fine, I don't mind. That door I'm gonna leave for the last. For now, what I think I'm gonna show you first is the door over here at the very end. There we go. And this leads to an interesting room, but please do not take another step. The moment you do, another fire elemental will spawn from hell. And the closest way to douse him is actually right here under the trapdoor. This is the trapdoor that leads to the ladder in the very first library we discovered with the 2 fire elementals, which we doused in pools. And that's also the plan here, but I have a much better idea. I recommend approaching this entire room from this side. And for that, we'll need to do a different challenge first, but you can absolutely skip ahead and do it now. Also, I love this artwork, my god. If I'm not mistaken, this must be a Minoan depiction of a bull. So this is pre-ancient Greece, this is how ancient this is. I can tell by these sort of colored tiles on the edges. If you're really interested in something completely out of this world that almost look like it wasn't made by humans, check out some Minoan architecture or artwork or Mycenaean. These are like the pre-ancient Greek cultures, and it's absolutely fascinating, the unique art style they have. Okay, so I'm absolutely taking a picture here, because, come on, this place deserves it. But let's go back. By the way, in case you've played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you'll see exactly this texture referenced all across the tombs there. I'll be honest, the tombs in Assassin's Creed Odyssey are incredibly boring, but the first few are a visual spectacle, at least. Okay, and... Oh, there we go. I want to show you this room, and you don't need to go to it now, but this is essentially... Oh, there's some charcoal up there. Interesting. I never noticed that in the original. Alright, no need to take your shotgun out. Okay, well, we see this wonderful artwork here again. The gist here is, and this is one of the most cryptic puzzles of the entire game, we need to bring a torch here and burn the floorboards in order to get down there and progress. That's actually where the musical scroll is, okay? We have not yet seen a torch, and that's fine, because it's later on. For now, what I would very much like to do, and again, I recommend saving here, but since I saved relatively recently, I'm not going to do that. We need to enter a slide and time this jump correctly, or we'll miss out on the third and final secret of the level. Ah, okay, it is fairly generous in terms of informing you in advance, especially if you have a flare out. My friends, what is it we're climbing? We are on top of a giant lion head made out of bronze. Oh, and marble balls are now just dropping randomly. Look at those things. They look rather atrocious in the original. I'm really happy how they fixed them up in the remasters. However, the changes to the geometry are gonna make navigating them very difficult. But later about that. First, let's drop the flare so it doesn't screw us over. And now, make sure to hold the action key to make it here. And just normal crossbow bolts and a large medpack. Yeah, this is not very exciting, is it? Let me make a safety drop here. There we go. And guys, sometimes I manage it, sometimes I don't. But there's a boulder I'm usually trying to trigger. But it doesn't seem to work now for whatever reason. Well, doesn't matter. Just know that sometimes a second one can appear. This camera angle, I think, is supposed to show you that, but it already happened. I don't know, this whole area is just a bit weird in the way it was set up by the core era devs. Anywho, the final mechanical soldier hiding behind the column over there. He can't really keep away from us though. And that's it. So my friends, I would like to draw your attention to something. First and foremost, you can use this ledge over here to grab the switch over there. This will cause the column over here to increase and give you an easy access into the lion's mouth. However, this will also disable the Relion Yourself achievement. So, again, conventional wisdom would have you believe you need to corner glitch up here, and that's also an option to get up here and then reach the lion head and pull the switch here and unlock the achievement. Instead, what you can do if you feel a bit icky about corner glitching is, again, I recommend switching to the OG graphics, because look at this. There's an entire diagonal half a square there that the remasters are not showing. What the hell? Guys, you need to grab the leftmost ledge, but this can be a bit tricky. What you need to do is jump forward and delay pressing the action key, okay? You need to delay it slightly, otherwise Lara will never grab it. Because pressing the action key a bit early shortens Lara's jump trajectory. And congrats, you've made it. Now what we need to do is make another jump. And again, look at this. This is what the remaster would have you believe, that there's nothing here, which is of course not true. So let's just do it like this. There is not enough space to do a running jump, but I'm gonna try to grab the ledge over there. Wonderful. And now I think I'm fine switching to the remastered graphics. Let's see. And again, the achievement will pop only once you trigger the lever at the top of the lion's head. Okay, be on the left side of this square, and again, at the very last second, press action. Oh, thank God. Yeah, this is not slippery. It's a bit more obvious, again, in the original graphics than the remasters. You don't know where the edge exactly is, but from now on, this should be easy. And we're gonna open the lion's mouth. And there we go, Relion Yourself. Don't flip the switch in the room with the lion heads. Yay! See, it wasn't all that difficult. Now, I kind of just don't want to leave a switch unflipped for an even easier access, I guess. We can just come back here, and I want to show you what it would have done. There we go. Okay, I originally thought there's only like 5 of these types of switches, but no, they seem to be all over the place. That makes me very happy. Anywho, see how easy this would have been if you flipped the switch, but this way we flip the switch and we have the achievement. So, awesome. And now, just grab this. Oh, I could have crawl climbed, would be more efficient. Oh well, opportunity missed. I'll learn to forgive myself one day. And up we go. And this should take us to a room with a couple of braziers and I guess most importantly a torch. and one of the Pharaoh's artifacts we need to complete the Alexandria section. A lot is going on here. So first of all, yeah, I'm gonna do, I think, this. And my friends, you did it! You accessed this room without triggering the fire elemental. You can also see the brazier is no longer on fire, which is really interesting, and I think a bug. Miss Croft, can you open it? Oh shoot, is it this side? That's... okay, that's not how I remember it at all. Anywho, let's grab the main prize. This, my friends, is the Pharaoh's Pillar, one of the 2 items to unlock Cleopatra's Palaces, where the rest of the Armor of Horus is, okay? Now, since I'm a bit of a completionist, despite this not increasing our kill count... oh, there we go, the elemental's out. Oh yeah, he's out already. Let's grab the ladder. Whew. And now, this should be familiar. This is where we encountered the first 2, so let's just repeat the loop, but it's a bit easier because we're chased just by 1. Besides, you had a lot of practice, no? Okay, I've seen a smoke particle effect, that means we are safe. And the cool thing is, you now have a free access to the upper floor of the Lost Library via the ladder over here, which is incredibly convenient. Yay! So let's climb all the way up. And actually walk back into the grate from which we emerged, because there was another one we have not explored. We haven't even approached it enough for it to open, right? Okay, there we go. This is the one I'm talking about. It's nice of them to open automatically. Really impressive technology. By the way, this, guys, is ridiculously easy to miss in the remasters if you don't have the action indicators. There is a torch here. When I did my trial run, I was actually stuck here until I switched to the OG graphics. Now you don't have to turn on both braziers, just one is enough, but I like to, of course, show you that both of them work. These small fires should not set you on fire. And also, we see a couple of Greek letters over here. And if any of you guys can read this and maybe let us know what it refers to, I would appreciate it so much. Oh man. I know the first symbol is omega, but, you know, doesn't really help me much in terms of pronouncing it, translating it, or anything like that. Maybe it warns us about night and how we need to bring light to it. Because the first word look kind of like Nox or something like that. Who knows? Okay, and here we are, guys. Remember this room? Yeah, now we are equipped with a torch. So guess what we're gonna do? Vandalize the whole place. This is a really cool particle effect, actually, but you need to be patient. What it's a bit odd about it, perhaps, is that the fire will go out and then nothing will happen, and then the floor will fall down. It has a bit of an odd timing. See, that's what I'm talking about. Anywho, let's forward somersault out of here. There we go. And now, thanks to the useful camera angle, out of all these scrolls, you know, this is the one to pick up, yeah? Unfortunately, this one, we don't get to examine like the fire scroll. This is just music scroll.
No.
Yeah, Lara doesn't want to read music without a pedestal designed for this very scroll. She's a bit picky like that. So there we go. Those are normal shotgun shells. And that should be the very final pickup, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll see it on the stat screen. Now, let's emerge from here. This is the final bottom floor door that we were not able to open. If we were able to open it from the get-go, we could just immediately get here at the beginning, grab the music scroll, and only think about working our way up to the music room. Talking about working our way up, this is the entrance into the very first library found, remember? Now the whole place is completely exercised of fire wraiths and elementals, so we can use the ladder here to, again, have a bit of a faster way of getting up without having to enter the fire serpent pentagram room. Was it pentagram? I think it had 7 tips, so not a pentagram, but a hexagram? I don't know. But that room, essentially, with a serpent circle. There, see how easy and quickly you can get to the top floor? And now we're gonna do, I guess, not necessarily final, but the penultimate walk over the balcony over here. I can almost hear Winston bringing in the tea, clinging and farting. Flatulent old bastard. Okay, and now back to the music room. And this, my friends, is just, this puts one giant smile on my face. Yeah, just 3 swipes of her fingers, didn't seem necessarily complicated. The cool thing is, I guess to an extent, you also get to read the scroll here. And again, if any of you guys can read not just Greek, but ancient Greek, kudos to you. Would be interesting to know if this is a reference to something, although I have to admit, the letters down here seem way more different than the letters over here. Doesn't seem like the same alphabet. Anywho, if you guys have any theory, do let me know. Now, this doesn't lead to the level exit yet. What it leads to is again the balcony overlooking the entire place, but the cool thing is we have now opened the exit. And I'll be honest, it makes me a bit sad. I just don't want this level to end. And unfortunately, that's exactly what's gonna happen when we take the next step. So first of all, my friends, I'm gonna save the game here. Second of all, I'm gonna check the statistics. This was the best level of Tomb Raider 4. I'm not sure if you guys agree with me, but I hope I made my case for why I love it so much. We got our hands on all 28 goodies. Used to be 29 back when I counted torches, but I no longer do that in the remaster version to be consistent with this. Raising our total pickups count to 346. We are also still stuck at 191 kills because the 7 mechanized soldiers do not count for whatever reason, but it should have been at 198, and from now on at the end of each level I'm always gonna say +7 mechanical soldiers, okay? Furthermore, we have found this level's all 3 secrets, raising the total to 52, and we have broken all 16 vessels. Again, it wasn't very difficult, but I've seen people online complain about vessels disappearing from this level. Never ever happened to me, but that's probably because of the unique order in which I tackle the rooms. I think that has something to do with it, okay? So just maybe whilst you're working on unlocking the Oops achievement, tackle this level in exactly the same order I did. I know it's a bummer, it's restrictive, you want to explore it on your own. Or if you don't care about that, maybe you can use New Game Plus run as an opportunity to unlock the Oops achievement. Entirely up to you. Also, we have unlocked this level's one and only achievement called Rely on Yourself. I showed you how to do it without the glitch, I showed you where you can glitch yourself, and I showed you what happens when you press the lever. And we have made progress to the Hypatia Would Be Proud achievement via 2 clues, lighting up the planetarium map with your binoculars and picking up and reading the fire scroll the moment it became pickupable. Okay guys, so thank you so much for being with me, and before I say farewell after the game's best level, I would like to say that, you know what guys? No, screw you Core Era devs for splitting the Lost Library and the Hall of Demetrius. We are tackling Hall of Demetrius right here and today. Yes guys, I absolutely could not let this chance slip by me. I want to experience the Lost Library as it was meant to be. By the way, you can always walk back and into the Temple of Poseidon and reach the coastal ruins that way, but there is more efficient secret way out of the Hall of Demetrius, but treating it as its own separate level. We are gonna pick up exactly 1 goodie, raising the total to 347. We are, however, gonna actually land now 3 kills, raising the total 194, and we are gonna find, I would call it Secret 0. We're gonna find a secret exit out of here that's gonna trigger a secret in the coastal ruins where this level is gonna take us. We're not gonna break any breakable vessels, and there is one and only achievement to think about, and this one is an absolute blast, pun intended. Cooler than Henry, what I think is a lovely reference to Indiana Jones is Dead. We need to blind, poison, and then finish up with just 1 pistol 3 black and white assassins. black and red assassins. Okay, guys? So I'm gonna show you how to do that the most efficient way. And what's really neat is that this follows a really cool cutscene. Oh, I love the look of this.
Hey, I like the look of this.
So, the final room to the Lost Library of Alexandria that was just brutally ripped out of the level files. This one shows a pharaoh, very young one, and this again could be one of the Ptolemies, so I guess ethnically a Greek ruling over Egypt. Cleopatra's young brother, maybe. If you guys have any ideas, please let me know. But what I find even more interesting is Hades, right over here with Cerberus. He was the figure we've seen in the tapestries in the Lost Library, the previous level, swinging in the air. So remarkably, not Alexander the Great, but someone else. Why Hades is here guarding the underworld? Your guess is as good as mine, but I am not letting this opportunity slip by past us. I'm taking both of these versions as pictures, because it's just one of those. Now, there is no Theomachus requirement to do handstand in front of great paintings, okay? It is just statues. Now, you can go to the left to get your hands on Pharaoh's Knot, the other crucial key item, but first of all, I'd like to show you that Lara is indeed cooler than Henry. Some preparation is required. First of all, switch to flash grenades, then in your crossbow, switch to poison. Okay, you are good to go, and let's just make sure that when we press the weapon unholster key, we're gonna get the grenade launcher out. And let's see Lara meeting Von Croy face to face, first time since 1980s. Because remember guys, in New York, they technically never met face to face after the little adventure with the Iris.
The tablet was returned to the sands that had spawned it beneath the citadel.
The citadel of Saladin in ancient Cairo, foretelling of the time in the distant millennia when the stars of Orion come together. The ceremony is performed and set, entombed.
Hello, my dear. Another unannounced visit. I see you have found the scroll we unearthed. Interesting reading, yeah?
Only interesting if you know what it refers to.
Yes, quite correct, my dear. The armor on its own is no more than a curiosity, but with the amulet and the ceremonial tablet, it becomes an important historical artifact, predating the Bible by centuries.
There is more at stake here than the sum of the pieces, Von Croy. Ever heard of Armageddon? Unpleasant, even by your standards.
Rebinding the spirit of Set, putting the armor on the statue at midnight at the turn of the millennium, so on and such like. I was never a believer in this magical hocus pocus. Fools, after her!
We should have a counter for each time Von Croy calls his henchmen fools, seriously at this point. So, first order of business guys, let these assassins spread around. You want to be able to tell one apart from the other, which is... oh my god, that's not spreading around. Guys, I need you to cooperate somewhat. Okay. That actually works out great. Now let's immediately switch to crossbow. We have the poison arrows. Don't use laser sights, just approach. Poison. There we go. I'm gonna trust all of them are poison. Now the best way to avoid taking damage and let the poison take effect is to run across to the other side and set them on a merry goose chase. This is gonna give you the extra seconds you need. Oh, wow. They just stopped using goosies altogether. That's fine. Time is our friend now, because they're the ones being poisoned, and you can also dangle Lara's sexy legs like this. And again, lead them on a goose chase. They will be able to fire from certain angles. Okay, let's have all of them go up. And I think sufficient time should pass so we can take them down with a pistol each. Nope, not gonna work. Okay, take your pistols out and make sure to line Lara so she only aims with one. And the final one seems to be stuck at the top, okay? Let's finish this. Oh my god, really? Miss Croft, I'm gonna need you to cooperate. Now he dodged. What is he doing? There we go. Okay, this wasn't cooler than Henry, but it still worked. Okay, guys. So, this took way longer than I imagined, but it's a good strategy, you know? So, first make sure to cover behind the corner as they're running out to make sure they spread out somewhat. Blind them with a flash grenade, and it's crucial to remember that you poisoned each one of them and not hit one with two poison crossbow bolts by accident, and then just finish off with one pistol. That's the trick many people will fall to, that they'll just finish them with both pistols. That doesn't count. You need to aim with just one, but it's pretty cool when it works. Okay, guys? Now, I'm actually gonna reload the game here, because I want to show you what I think is a way cooler method of taking these guys down. Okay, so back at the beginning of the level. First of all, what I would normally recommend now that this achievement is over, or if you don't care about the achievements, is let's grab the Pharaoh's knot over here. By the way, I love this. This was nothing but blend ceiling in the OG. I mean, it still is geometrically, but the remasters gave it depths and illumination and light, and it makes it feel way less claustrophobic. So let's not forget the Pharaoh's knot over here. This is crucial. It's a twin to the Pharaoh's pillar. Even though they look nothing alike, at least the nomenclature is a bit of a hint, so I appreciate that. Let's drop down quickly, but safely. And now, my friends, you probably know what I'm about to do. You don't even need a super grenade for this. And forget about flash grenades, just a normal grenade will do. So let's retrigger the cutscene again. Lara will then teleport downstairs, which is very convenient. Oh, she takes her pistols out automatically. Interesting. And let's wait for these guys to cluster together, like three stooges, and do away with them. Whoa, those body parts really lingered. So this is my favorite way of taking care of these guys, which has nothing to do with the achievement, but I just really wanted to show you, okay? And now, you don't really need to even come up here at all, unless you're interested in a secret. See, this is the tunnel where Von Croy and his men emerged from, but it is completely empty, right? Nothing to see here, move along. However, in the cutscene itself, you could see Von Croy closing the door over here, and this is really interesting. The hint is right here, but I think this is stupid. It was stupid in the original, and it's stupid in the remasters, and I was hoping they would address it. See, the markings on the floor, the scratches, come all the way here, so you might be thinking, oh, we need to push this lamppost over here, right? No, you need to push it only 1 square forward. If you push it 2 squares forward, nothing will happen, and I can't begin to tell you guys how many times I was stuck here wondering why the damn door is not opening. Well, that's because the markings are off, and again, this is something I hope the remasters would touch up and cut them short at the place where you're actually supposed to put the lamp in. Anywho, it's a minor complaint, but again, it can still be very misleading. So my friends, I'm gonna save the game here. This was incredibly satisfying, and let's take a brief look at the stats screen. My god, I again chose the wrong side to scroll through this thing. So, Hall of Demetrius, we found its one and only pickup, raising the total to 347. We have also landed all 3 kills, landing 194, which should be +7 and 201 if the mechanical soldiers would count. And also, we have not yet found this level's one and only secret, but technically we did already trigger the secret that will unlock in Coastal Ruins. This will make sense in the next video. Just remember that to push the lamppost where I did, and this secret exit will appear. And again, this is like the 3rd secret exit into the Coastal Ruins. I love this. We are also at 52 out of 70 secrets, approaching that 70, but again, we just made it over half the game, so it's much longer and the secret rate will drop off, and there are no breakable vessels to speak of, but we've broken 3 bodies in numerous ways, unlocking cooler than Henry. Okay guys, I hope you have enjoyed our visit to both the Lost Library and Hall of Demetrius. Wanna know something funny? I just about reached the 100 characters limit for the title of this video. Look at this, and this I knew is a sign we need to tackle it this way. And also your comment inspired me to do it that way, so thank you very much for that. Anywho guys, before I take a fatal slide into the Coastal Ruins, I want to say goodbye, but not before I say thanks to my absolutely amazing patrons for accompanying me in what is my most beloved level of the game. Blankgoopel, Mick, Severin Drax, Enstickle, Katie Danger, Pooh the 2, Basic Brownie, and Bino. Thank you guys so much for being my loyal Winstons and for confusing the Lost Library with Lara's home and always being on hand with a cup of tea. Next, I would like to say big thanks to my caretaker Winstons, Michael McConkie, Karavetu, Renegade Durney, Blanket Fox, Jonathan Jones, Dig Debbie, and PD92. Thank you guys so much for your support of the channel, and also for restoring the paintings that got damaged during the shootout with Von Croistachs. You took your brushes and restored them back to perfection. I would also like to give special thanks to my brave veteran Winstons, Andrea Paviglianiti, Alexander, and Richard Dearman. Thank you guys so much for your valiant support of the channel, and also for teaching Lara the ins and outs of handling her equipment, practicing small guns, handfire, firing crossbows, and launching grenades. Who knew all these skills would become handy one day in the same single combat encounter? And finally, I would like to give one very, very special thanks to my one and only fine vintage Winston, Akira Foxmind. Thank you so much for your long and generous support of the channel, and also for spending the time with young Lara as her musical teacher during those music lessons, teaching her the different notes, chords, harmonics, and especially teaching her how to play the piano and the harp. Who knew that today learning how to play the harp will come in so handy and allow her to make progress and what is essentially a highlight of the level for me. And on a final note, I'd like to say thanks to my free Patreon members as well as to each and every one of you for making it to the very end of this long video. A long video that you had to wait a long time for, and I do apologize for that. However, I've been going through so many changes in my life right now, getting my affairs in order, and I just had to prioritize those. At the same time, I really tried my best to maintain at least one video per week schedule, and hey, we even exceeded that, so I'm happy about that. But I really hope things will get back on track as soon as possible, so you don't have to wait this long for each episode. Now, I'm also very happy that you guys accompanied me on what is my most favorite level of Tomb Raider 4, and that we tackled it in a bit of a naughty way and combined it with Hall of Demetrius, just like Ancient Gods of Egypt have it intended to. Also guys, do let me know what is your most favorite level of Tomb Raider 4, I'm really curious to hear. Maybe it's even one of the levels in Cairo or Giza. If that's the case, I will find some new appreciation for it maybe, so do drop me a comment below. And I'm gonna start working on the next very short transitionary episode, but also incredibly satisfying because we're gonna tie up some loose ends in coastal ruins. That's exactly where I'm gonna see you next, and until then, I wanna wish all of you happy raiding.